Has a little room. So looking at the quiz that we have tomorrow, and then also looking at the review that we're going to do last night, and then we'll do tonight as well. There's a problem that I want to make sure that we do comprehend. So I'm going to do one, and then right below it, I'm going to give you a similar one to try. Sound okay? Has to do with scientific notation. So let's say we had this problem. So it's in scientific notation. Yes, I understand I don't have all the digits out there. And I actually am not looking to make sure that you know to take it out 3 decimal places. I'm just looking to make sure you can do it. So first thing I'm doing here is this comes here and here. So I get 36 times 10 to the 8th power. Do you agree with that? Is there any part of what I just did that doesn't make sense? Now we have to remember that I want my problem to look like 3.6 times 10, and we have to figure out what the new exponent is going to be. So where does my exponent sit right now with the 36? Yeah, it's like right here, correct? So we actually have to move it here so it's there. Does that make sense? So we have to think, what would we do? Does this number increase by 1 or does it decrease by 1? So hey, before you shout it out, let's think about what it is. Right now, this would mean that would mean that, correct? So then if I wanted to put the decimal back here, how many places am I coming back? 7. So it starts here, right? 1, with me still? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where it had been, right? 9. Is that okay? Do you see how I just used a little bit of thought of how this would work in order to get to the answer? All right, so leaving that up there as notes, will you try this one? Eight times 10 to the third quantity squared. It's done the exact same way. So see if you can follow along with it. And again, this is just on a scrap piece of paper. It could be a napkin you used yesterday. I don't care. It could be on, squeezed someplace on a homework assignment. Doesn't matter. Another 30 seconds, and we'll run through it. Ready? Okay. So we're going to distribute this to here and here. So that leads me to 64 times 10 to the 6th power. Right? See? Does everyone agree with that so far? Is the problem done at that point? No. Let's take it one step further, okay? So, where's the decimal existing right now? It's sitting right there. Is everyone good with that? And I want to put it here. So what did we do on the last problem? We added what? So this is now going to be 6.4 times 10 to the 7th. And again, if you're stuck at that point, think about what this really means. 64, you told me the decimal is right there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if we come backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's why I just said the 7th power. Okay? We're just kind of, these are random problems. They're not, we're not homework. Yeah. Is that, yeah.
So wait, so you go left to right and increase, and you go right to left decrease?
Okay. Can I move off these 2 problems? Okay. You will definitely see this type of problem on tomorrow's quiz. Okay? So, can I move forward a screen? All right, so here's another one. You'll see one similar to this. Okay, so when you have a negative exponent, when you're dealing with scientific notation, you're not worried to make it not a negative. You can keep it as negative. So on this type of problem, we multiply those. So I get 32 times 10, and then I add these. So 5 added to negative 3 is 2, right? Okay, so where is the decimal sitting right now? Yeah, it's sitting right here. I would like it to move here. So what's this answer going to be?
3.2 times 10 to the 3rd.
Yeah, 3.2 times 10 to the 3rd. Again, if you think about what this is, this means add 2 zeros, so 3200, where the decimal's here, and then you move backwards, 1, 2, and 3. That's where that 3 comes from. Is that all right? So will you try this one down here? It's done the exact same way. Follow it through. See if you can figure it out. Got it? That what you get? We'll see a problem like that definitely tomorrow. Okay, and again, I'm doing these because it wasn't on the review sheets, right? You didn't say, so you're looking at a review. I don't say this on there, but remember we did learn this, so I want to make sure we did cover it.
You got 35 multiplied by 7 and you have 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. May I move to the last 2 problems on this, and then we'll go over the review. Is that all right? Ready? Okay. So looking at this problem, we have to recognize that 4 over 8 is the same thing as 0.5. Is that okay? Now, I do have a negative exponent down here, so if this were to move up, how many 10s would be up top then? 8. So that means I have 0.5 times 10 to the 8th power. Okay? Is that decimal in the right spot right now? No, I want to move this decimal this way. So think about what this is. This to the 8th means move the decimal 8 this way. Agree? So this 8 means this decimal moves 8 this way to get it out of scientific notation. So if I move this 1 this way, how many more does it have to go this way in order to get to 7? So I get 5.0 times 10 to the 7th. And that's that answer. definitely will see that type of problem tomorrow. Try this one.
Is the quiz tomorrow on computers or written?
No, it's written. It's old school. Now you get a chance to try that one. Remember, convert the 3/5, make it a decimal. If you don't know how to make a fraction decimal, you go 3 divided by 5 on a calculator. Okay, so I have 3/5, which is 0.6. This is going to move up. So right now I'm going to get 0.6 times 10 to the 11th power, right? 3 divided by 5. So this is going to go from here to here. So what is that going to become? 6.0 times 10 to the 10th, right? Because we already moved 1 decimal to the right, so that's my answer. Yeah.
Where do you get the power of like 2 to the 11th power of 10 power?
Okay, so this was a negative exponent, right? So it could move up. So that would mean you have 10 to the 8 and 10 to the 3rd, like bases add the exponents. Yeah.
Do you have to like divide 3 by 5?
Yeah, you don't want to leave scientific notation as a fraction.
Okay.
You want to convert it to a decimal and then move the decimal to the appropriate spots.
Okay.
How do we feel? Everything all right? Okay. So let's take a look on page 21. Page 21.
Hold on.
Sorry. And this is recorded, so y'all can watch it if you need to tonight. But let's take a look at page 21. We're just looking at the front page of page 21. Let's see what kind of questions we might have come across on page 21. Yeah. Number 9. Ready?
Yeah.
Number 9 on page 21. So please make any adjustments on your paper to help you along with this. Okay, so I'm going to distribute 2 root 7 to both of those. So that's going to come here. So that gives me 6 root 35. So outside to outside multiplication, inside to inside. And then that comes here, so that's minus 8 root 49. Okay, so I know that 35 is 1 times 35. That's not going to help me. And it's also 5 times 7. Are there any perfect squares that are inside of 35? No, so 6 root 35 stays as is. What is root 49?
7.
Just 7, right? So I get 6 root 35 minus, if that, the square root of 49 is 7, I'm going to multiply it times the 8, so I get minus 56.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So wait, you square root 7. No, you square root 49.
I square root of 49 got 7, and 7 times 8 is 56. Because it came out, right? What else do we need to see on this? Sam? 12. May I move up? Here, let's do this. Here, and we'll dual page it. So that's, if you need to look at that. Here's number 12. 5 root 21 times 2 root 3. Okay, we're just multiplying the two together. So 5 times 2 is 10. And then 3 times 21 is 63. Is that okay? Everyone agree with how that math just took place? I know that 63 will break down to 9 times 7. And 9 is the largest perfect square that goes in there. So what's the square root of 9? 3. So 3 gets multiplied times the 10. So now I get 30 outside. What do I still have left inside? 7. What else on that front page would you like to take a look at? Yeah. 5. Okay. So let's see. Can I break 4 down to a perfect square times another number? Can I break 12 down?
Oh, well, yeah, you can.
4 times 3, right?
Yeah.
So some of you are like, well, why didn't he use 6 and 2? Because 6 and 2 don't have perfect squares. 4 and 3 do. Plus 4 root 27. Can I break 27 down to a perfect square times something else? 9 times 3, good. And then what about 48? 16 times 3?
Yeah.
Is that all right? Everybody okay with all those? Okay. So what will this become? What would this become right here? 2 root 3. Take the square root of 4. Okay. What's the square root of 9? 3. So what does this second one become? 12 root 3. Everyone okay with that? And then what's the square root of 16? So what does this become then?
Root 3.
Root 3. Okay, with the math that just took place? All right, so they all have the exact same radical, so we could do the math. So we're just counting up. 2 added to 12 is 14, right? 14 subtracting 8 is 6. So my answer is 6 square root 3. Notice the square root 3 didn't change at all throughout that problem. Yeah.
Can you do 7?
Yep. Six, 2, 6. All right, so we're going to distribute the square root of 6 here. So that gives me square root 12 minus, distribute there, so that gives me 36. Okay, can I break 12 down to a perfect square times something else? 6 and 2 is correct with factors, but 6 and 2 don't have any perfect squares, so 4 and 3. Because 4 is your biggest perfect square, right? What about root 36? Oh, it just breaks down to 6. It's a perfect square, agreed? So what's the square root of 4? 2, so I get 2 square root 3 minus 6. Nice exact answer. What else from that front page? Yeah. 11. Yeah, I saw you. All right. Square root of 144. That's 12. Square root of x to the 6th. X to the 3rd. Over square root of 81. 9. I have to change this to y squared y. So what's the square root of y squared? y, and then I have left in the denominator square root y. Okay. Problem is not done. There's two more things to do. One, I can reduce 12 over 9. So that gets me 4 over 3. Then x to the third stays up on top, y stays down there. But if I multiply this by root y, now I get a root y up on top, which is fine. If I multiply root y times root y, I get root y squared. What's the square root of root y squared? Y. Y times this other y. Y squared. And I verified on the quiz tomorrow, you will not see one that tough. Yo.
Number
17. Turning the page. 17, let's not worry about it. I will not quiz you on it. I will not quiz you on number 16 either, so let's not focus on those because they won't be on the quiz tomorrow. Is that okay? Yep. Question? No? Any more questions? Either on the front or on the back. And don't worry about 16 and 17. Leave those alone. We good? All right, guys and girls, I want to give you the opportunity to continue working on the review. I will be coming around helping you. This is not, I'm going to sit in a group of 6 and 1 person works and 5 people Snapchat. Got it? So I want you to hold on to that sheet. I'm going to give you the points for it right now. I figure we just did almost every problem. I didn't mark it off, so I'll just give you the points for it right now. So I would like you to work on page 23 and 24. You have the rest of the period to work on it. You can ask me questions. Page 23 and 24. And I would like you to do 1 through 31. Don't do the ones at the very end. But you have the remainder of the period to work on it. And I will come around and help you. Just give me a minute to put points in for you for today's homework, okay?